Hello, I'm Andrew DuBrock, contributing editor for Acoustic Guitar, here with another lesson in our Acoustic Rock Basics series. The Dave Matthews hit Satellite opens with an ear-catching single note line. It's the riff and the vocal backup, the thread that weaves the song together. Single note riffs like this are a distinct and catchy effect, and use single notes exclusively to provide the melody and often the rhythm too. Despite how complicated many of these ideas sound, most great single note riffs have a simple musical concept behind them, and when you break them down, or start from a small piece and build them up, they become much more manageable. In this lesson, we're going to look at 3 ways you can create riffs out of bite-sized pieces, building single note riffs like those used by Dave Matthews and Andy Summers in some of their best songs. I've recruited Acoustic Guitar's group publisher and editorial director Dan Gable to help us with our first approach, which takes a small idea, a riff fragment, and adapts it to work across a chord progression, turning it into full-blown accompaniment for a song. You don't need to start with much. For instance, let's try something short, like example 1 in your accompanying notation in tab. 1, 2. Here that is again. 1, 2. We'll be working in the key of D, so we'll experiment with expanding the riff to fit over a measure of a D chord. A little repetition, like in example 2, will work. 1, 2, 3, 4. This doesn't sound like much yet, but we've essentially built our riff. Now all we have to do is apply it to a full song or chord progression. Let's work with a G to D to A to D chord progression in the key of D. To make our idea work over those other chords, make small adjustments to the strong notes of the riff, those longer F-sharp notes that will conflict with the G and A chords. While playing a G chord, we'll move that F-sharp note up to a G note, from F-sharp to G. 1, 2, 3, 4. And for the A chord, we'll slide that F sharp down to an E. 1, 2, 3, 4. Each of these riff fragments matches the chords a little better because we've changed the discordant notes to chord tones for each background chord. Now all we have to do is string these ideas together to fit our chord progression, and we've got a full-blown riff. Example 5 shows the fruits of our labor. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is very similar to Dave Matthews' riff in Ants Marching.